I don't know how many of you have ever heard the advice of what is the secret to making friends in a new city, because I live in Seattle, and you've probably seen my other video about the Seattle Freeze. The Seattle Freeze is this concept of it's virtually impossible to make friends in Seattle because everybody freezes you out, gives you the cold shoulder. So how do you make friends when you move to a new town? You don't know anyone. So the one thing that I always heard is that you should find a place where you should become a regular. And of course in Seattle, they say go to a coffee shop. I'm not a big coffee drinker. So coffee shops, they also probably serve other drinks besides coffee. Get a hot tea or something like that to warm you up in the wet Seattle rain. But, in order to become a regular, pretty much means you've got to go on a regular basis. So if you go there every morning to get your morning coffee, and just by being there every day, getting to be known by the people that work there, it doesn't always mean that the same people are going to be there every day. So I don't really understand how that is a concept. Of course, I'm sure you could be a regular at a restaurant, a fast food restaurant. Maybe there's probably different shift workers working each time you go in to eat at that restaurant. Maybe there's a convenience store in your area. Stop by and get a drink, a soda, or something like that there. Anyways, this is the advice I always heard, is that you should just become a regular somewhere. So I think people are thinking of like the TV show Cheers. So maybe there's a local bar, watering hole, whatever you want to call it, sports bar, where you swing by every day and you have yourself a drink. Well, of course, that's going to involve you need some money. If you're low on funds, this isn't really a tactic that you can use very well, that you've got to go somewhere and spend your money every single day to become a regular somewhere and get to know the people there. But here's how I take it. And I take it as customer service in general, especially like if you go to like a grocery store. A lot of times you go to the grocery store and the person working there, well, if you're not doing self-checkout, because most places are self-checkout. So I'm going to name a grocery store like Trader Joe's, where you go up to the register and then they'll ask you some question about, what are you doing this weekend? And I always think, none of your business. Why would I tell you what I'm doing? You're a stranger. That's kind of how I always handled those situations. I really don't like over-talkative customer service people that want to get all up in my business. But this is the whole how to make friends in an area, a new area where you don't know anyone, especially when I'm complaining about the Seattle Freeze and that people don't want to be my friend. But this is the tactic that I would say to use. Go somewhere, and of course, when they ask you, what are you doing this weekend? Then you say, I don't know, I'm new in town. What's going on? What's going on this weekend? I don't know. Do you know of anything good? This is where you kind of have that open dialogue. Give them a chance to give you some ideas of things going on over the weekend. And you, of course, always throw it out there. I'm new in town, or I don't know very many people, or I don't know where all the cool hot spots are to go hang out at. And usually, because they're probably lived there for however long they've lived there, they know their way around and they can give you advice. They can give you, I heard of some festival going on this weekend, or I heard there's going to be some wine tasting thing going on this weekend, or, just building a rapport with someone and having those interactions with random strangers, because that's really what they are. They're random strangers. When they ask you in their, they could probably care less what you're doing this weekend, but it's part of their job. They have to ask you, hey, how's it going? How's your day? What are you going to do this weekend? I hate all those questions, but that's just part of the routine of what they're kind of required to do. But I think it is a good way to open up some dialogue with people that you don't know and get to learn an area a little bit better. And of course, don't be afraid to say, like, I just moved here, or I'm new in town, or I don't know very many people in this area, or, I'm looking for where the local sports bar is. What's the best place to go? Ask them for advice, because they're the local. They know their way around. They might give you bad advice, but it's a good way to kind of learn some new things that you didn't know about when you're new to an area. And then also, this is how you're kind of building up a rapport or a relationship with people that work there. Doesn't mean you're going to become best friends, but then the next time they see you, they might say, hey, did you go check out that wine tasting festival? What'd you think of it? And then so now you have more interactions, and that can possibly grow into something more. And of course, all it's probably ever going to grow into is, this is the person that serves me the coffee. Okay, right? But I do think that there is potential there where you might have some other people that are in the coffee shop that kind of overhear what you're talking about, and they may jump into the conversation and say, oh, I know something going on this weekend you might want to check out. And I just feel like eventually, if you've opened yourself up to getting to know people a little bit better, and you put yourself out there, which is not something that I enjoy doing, but you will start to meet people, and you will get to know your way around in a new city, and you will start to make friends. So even though in Seattle, maybe you won't make friends, but anywhere else in the country, you will probably make friends.